In the Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Federation's capital, Tarnus V, a verdant planet teeming with life and dotted with magnificent cities of crystal and light, delegates from hundreds of star systems gathered under a tranquil sky. At the heart of this Congress, Earth's representatives, cloaked in the modest attire of diplomats, navigated the complex web of galactic politics. The hall buzzed with myriad languages, translated instantly by the neural implants worn by all attendees. Ambassador Elena Myrov, a seasoned diplomat from Earth, stood by the towering windows overlooking the city's floating gardens, her gaze fixed on the distant horizon. The city was a marvel, a symbol of the peace that the Federation had maintained for centuries. Yet, today, the air was charged with a palpable tension. Reports of attacks on outlying planets by the mysterious Krell had stirred unease across the galaxy, disrupting the usual proceedings of the summit. "Elena, have you heard from our intelligence on Arcturus 9? Whispered her aide, Jonah, as he approached with a digital tablet in hand. His voice was low, meant only for her ears. Elena turned, her expression composed yet alert. "Any confirmation on the attackers?" Jonah nodded gravely. "It's the Krell, no doubt. Their ships match the descriptions. The outer colonies are asking for immediate assistance. They're scared, Elena. They haven't seen anything like the Krell before. The Krell were a warlike species, known only through scattered reports of their brutality and the remnants of the civilizations they had encountered. To the Galactic Federation, they had been a distant threat, one rarely considered imminent. Until now." Elena sighed, the weight of her role as Earth's representative settling on her shoulders. "Prepare a brief for the Security Council," she instructed. "It's time we discussed not just defense strategies, but a coordinated counteroffensive." As Jonah hurried away, Elena stepped into the central dome of the hall, where the summit was about to reconvene. The vast area was filled with beings of all shapes and sizes, from the towering, crystalline structures of the silicoids to the luminescent, floating forms of the nebulans. Each species brought their unique perspectives and technologies to the Federation, creating a mosaic of cooperation that had flourished in peace. The president of the Federation, a wise and ancient Oloran named Thesha, called the assembly to order. Her voice, amplified and calm, echoed through the chamber. "Esteemed delegates, we face a threat unlike any before. The Krell have made their violent intentions clear. It is not just one world or one species they target, but all of us, as members of this Federation." Murmurs rippled through the hall as Thesha continued. "We must stand united, or fall divided. I invite Ambassador Myrov of Earth to share her insights on our current crisis." All eyes turned to Elena as she stepped up to the speaker's platform. The soft light of the hall illuminated her figure, casting a long shadow behind her. "Thank you, President Thesha," Elena began, her voice steady. "The Krell do not seek negotiation. Their attacks have been swift, devastating, and without warning. Earth, though far from the front lines, has prepared an assessment of the Krell's tactics and potential strategies for our collective defense." She paused, allowing her words to resonate. "We propose not just a defensive posture but a proactive one. Earth may seem a young member of this Federation, with much to learn, but we do not lack in spirit or resolve. We have faced adversity and conflict in our past, surviving and eventually thriving through unity and ingenuity." A display behind her lit up with images of Earth's rugged landscapes, mountains, oceans, and forests that had once teemed with threats and predators. "We are children of a harsh world, a death world as some have termed it, which has sculpted us into beings capable of great endurance and resilience." Elena concluded, "Let us bring this resilience to bear against the Krell. Let us show them that the Galactic Federation is not merely a body of diplomats and traitors, but a united force capable of protecting its own." Together, we can turn back this tide of destruction. Applause filled the hall, mixed with an undercurrent of renewed determination. Plans began to form, alliances were strengthened, and for the first time in many cycles, the Federation looked to Earth not just for negotiation, but for leadership in the storm that approached. Back on Earth, news of the summit's decisions and the looming threat of the Krell spread quickly. The planet, with its bustling cities, quiet rural expanses, and everything in between, was a hive of activity, reacting almost viscerally to the alien menace. Defense committees convened, and public broadcasts relayed the urgency of the situation, calling for unity and courage in the face of the unknown. At the United Defense Command Center in Geneva, military leaders from around the globe gathered, their focus singular, to formulate a response that would not only defend Earth and its colonies but also assist their allies in the Galactic Federation. The large, holographic map in the center of the room flickered with points of light, each representing a human settlement or strategic outpost. General Sarah Komu, the appointed head of Earth's extraterrestrial operations, stood before her peers, her posture commanding. "Ladies and gentlemen, the Krell threat is unlike any we have faced in our history," she began, her voice echoing in the high-ceilinged room. "Our participation in the Galactic Federation has largely been peaceful and diplomatic. That changes today." She clicked a button, and the map zoomed into the frontier regions where the Krell attacks had been most frequent. "Our strategy will consist of three main components: reinforcement of vulnerable colonies, a series of rapid strike forces ready to deploy at a moment's notice, and a long-term plan to engage with the Krell directly." The room was filled with a mix of tension and resolve as officers and strategists pored over the data, suggesting tweaks and posing critical questions. "What about the non-human populations on our colonies? How do we ensure their safety?" asked one of the commanders. General Komu nodded, acknowledging the concern. "Every life under our protection is valuable. Evacuation plans are already being drafted, and our diplomatic corps is working overtime to ensure all resident alien species understand they are not being abandoned." As the meeting progressed, focus shifted to the military installations scattered across human-controlled space. Admiral Lu Chen, commander of the Earth Space Navy, outlined the fleet movements. "Our ships are being equipped with the latest in defensive and offensive tech from our R&D labs. This includes enhanced energy shields, faster-than-light communications interceptors, and our new class of drones capable of autonomous deep space combat." Meanwhile, on Earth, recruitment centers saw a surge in enlistments. The public, galvanized by the threat to their way of life and the safety of their families, showed up in droves to support the defense effort. Among them was Mia Vasquez, a young aerospace engineer who had left a promising career in the private sector. Standing in line at the recruitment center, she spoke to a reporter, her determination clear. "I studied to build spacecraft, thinking I'd be working on explorers and colonizers. But now, I'm here to help defend those ships and the people on them. We all have to do our part." The media covered these developments extensively, broadcasting images of young men and women training in simulated environments, learning to operate everything from basic firearms to complex space combat simulators. The message was clear: Earth was not going to sit idly by while a threat loomed over the galaxy. In the more remote areas of Earth, like the sprawling savannas of Africa and the dense rainforests of South America, local militias and indigenous forces were also mobilized. Trained in guerrilla tactics and survival skills honed by centuries of terrestrial conflict, they prepared to adapt these techniques for use in alien terrains. Back in Geneva, the planning session drew to a close with General Komu's final remarks. "This is a pivotal moment in human history. We are not only fighting for our survival, but also for our place in the cosmos. We need to be ready for anything, which means preparation, innovation, and above all, courage." As the military leaders dispersed to carry out their orders, the mood was one of sober optimism. They understood the gravity of the situation, but also the resilience and ingenuity of the human spirit. With Earth now on a wartime footing, every resource was geared towards the upcoming conflict. Factories that once produced consumer goods were retooled overnight to manufacture arms and armor, while research labs worked around the clock to develop new technologies that could give their forces an edge. The call to arms was clear, and Earth responded with a resounding commitment to defend not just their home but all sentient life threatened by the Krell. On Earth, the transformation from a peacetime economy to a full-scale war machine was well underway. The industrial sectors of major cities and minor outposts alike throbbed with activity, running 24 hours a day to meet the military's demands. Factories that once produced vehicles and consumer electronics now churned out drones and starfighter components. In the sprawling complexes of the North American Defense Assembly near what was once known as Denver, engineers and technicians worked tirelessly. Among them was Mia Vasquez, the aerospace engineer turned military recruit, who now led a team tasked with enhancing spacecraft agility and survivability. Mia walked briskly through the manufacturing plant, her eyes scanning the assembly line where the latest XJ-7 starfighters were being fitted with experimental armor. These new plating modules use a composite material designed to disperse energy from directed energy weapons. It's untested in field conditions, but simulations show a 30% increase in survivability against standard Krell armaments, she explained to a group of military observers. As Mia's team labored in the factories, training camps on Earth's more rugged terrains were filled with recruits. In the vast, unforgiving Sahara, soldiers learned to endure harsh environments, a crucial skill for planetary campaigns where conditions could vary from freezing ice worlds to scorching desert planets. Simulated battlegrounds replicated alien terrains, using advanced holographic technology to prepare the troops for what they might face. Colonel Jack Harper, a veteran of Earth's Special Forces, supervised a combat simulation for a new batch of recruits. Dressed in full tactical gear, the soldiers navigated a rocky landscape that mimicked the surface of Regulus IV, a Federation planet recently devastated by a Krell attack. Remember, the Krell are not just brutal, they're cunning. They use the terrain to their advantage, ambushing from cover. Use your environment, stay low, and keep your sensors active, Harper instructed, watching as the recruits executed a flanking maneuver against their holographic enemies. The training was not just physical. Psychological readiness sessions were held, where veterans shared experiences of past conflicts and survival strategies. These sessions were crucial in preparing the soldiers mentally and emotionally for the horrors of war against a merciless foe. Back in Geneva, General Komu convened with her top strategists in a secure war room. The walls were lined with screens displaying real-time data from all corners of human-controlled space. The Krell have hit another 3 colonies along the fringe. We're spreading our fleets thin if we try to cover every potential target, reported Admiral Chen. Komu nodded, her eyes fixed on the map. Let's prioritize the defense of major population centers and critical infrastructure. We can use mobile strike forces to respond to Krell incursions on less critical targets. It's not ideal, but we must manage our resources wisely. The conversation turned to long-range strategy. Dr. Helen Choi, head of the Federation's scientific coalition, joined the meeting via a secure channel. We've been analyzing the debris from Krell ships. There's a pattern in their engine emissions that could let us track their movements more effectively. Good, Komu responded. Let's deploy sensor buoys at key points along their likely routes. If we can predict their strikes, we can intercept them. As Earth fortified its defenses and prepared its response, the message was clear. This was a war for survival, not just against the Krell, but for humanity's place in the cosmos. Every factory, every training camp, and every strategy session was a testament to Earth's resolve to not only survive, but to assert itself as a formidable force in the galaxy. As the sun set over the horizon, casting long shadows over the bustling military bases, the mood was one of grim determination. The world was ready to fight, ready to show the galaxy the true mettle of Earth's children. As the Galactic Federation's planets aligned under the looming threat, Earth's first line of defense braced for imminent contact with the Krell. The forward operation base, stationed on the edge of the Ceres sector, buzzed with anticipatory energy. Here, Earth's newly minted rapid response teams were staged, equipped with the latest in human military technology and the critical training they had received back home. Admiral Lu Chen, overseeing the space fleet, stood in the command center aboard the USS Vanguard, the lead ship in the Earth Space Navy's armada. The holographic screens displayed a myriad of data, star maps, fleet positions, and encrypted communications channels blinking in and out of activity. Admiral, we've detected an anomaly. Possible Krell signature at Sector 47G, announced Lieutenant Kara, her voice tense but composed. Lu Chen approached the central holotable, his gaze fixed on the flickering image of a distant star system. Dispatch scout drones for closer inspection. I want eyes on whatever is out there before we make our next move. The drones, stealth and agile, relayed real-time visuals of a massive Krell warship, its sinister form cutting through the void of space. The data streamed back to the Vanguard was clear. The Krell were not just probing their defenses, they were on a direct course for the Velos system, a densely populated trading hub crucial to the Federation's economy. With no time to waste, Admiral Chen made the decisive call. Deploy the First Fleet. Engage with caution, and let's see what these enhancements really do under fire. The fleet surged forward, a silent ballet of ships gliding through the cosmos toward the impending clash. As they neared the enemy, the human forces prepared to implement the tactics that Earth's military strategists had devised. Colonel Jack Harper, now aboard the frigate USS Relentless, coordinated the ground forces. Remember, use the asteroids for cover, and keep your communications tight. The Krell thrive on chaos, we counter with precision. The battle commenced with a brilliant display of coordinated firepower from Earth's ships. The Krell, surprised by the ferocity and organization of the human response, retaliated with their typical brutal assaults, but found their tactics matched by the nimble maneuvers of the human pilots. In the thick of battle, Mia Vasquez, aboard the engineering vessel USS Forge, monitored the integrity of the fleet's defenses. Energy shields holding at 70%. Make sure those buffer fields are up. We need to keep the fighters covered as they make their runs, she instructed her team, her hands flying over the control panels. The skirmish escalated as the Krell attempted to flank the human forces. Swiftly, Admiral Chen commanded, "Initiate Plan Delta. Let's show them what human ingenuity looks like." At his command, a squadron of drones, previously hidden within the debris of a nearby destroyed planet, sprung to life and surged towards the Krell's flank. The drones, packed with explosive charges, collided with the enemy ship, tearing open its armor and exposing its internal systems to further attack. The tide of the battle shifted as the Krell warship, now severely damaged, began to retreat. Cheers broke out across the human fleet, but Admiral Chen remained focused. Stay alert. Track their path. This was just the first encounter. They'll regroup and come at us harder. Back on Earth, the news of the successful engagement spread quickly. Screens in public squares and living rooms across the globe showed images of the ships and the brave faces of those who fought. Humanity had faced its first direct conflict with the Krell and had not only survived, but had held its own. General Komu, watching the reports from her office in Geneva, felt a cautious surge of pride. This victory is crucial, but it's just the beginning, she mused aloud. We need to keep the pressure on and take the fight to them. Let's start planning the next phase. After their initial successful engagement with the Krell, humanity's resolve was tested as the war dragged on, bringing more fierce and frequent conflicts. However, the victory had instilled a renewed vigor in the Federation's ranks, particularly among Earth's forces. Their innovative tactics had proven effective, and now, strategists and military leaders gathered to capitalize on their momentum. At the command hub on Mars, a forward operating base established for its strategic position and robust infrastructure, Admiral Lu Chen and his cadre of tactical advisors convened a critical strategy meeting. The room was abuzz with energy, the walls lined with digital screens displaying star maps and real-time updates from various sectors. Admiral, our scouts have identified a potential Krell supply route through the Orion Nebula. It's a risky path, but if we could intercept their supply ships there, it would severely cripple their operational capacity in this quadrant, suggested Captain Imani, her eyes locked on the glowing map. Admiral Chen considered the proposal, his expression unreadable. Prepare a task force. We'll need our best pilots. Stealth is key. If we can execute this without alerting their main fleet, we could turn the tide of this war. Simultaneously, on Earth, public support for the war effort was rallying. Communities held assemblies and vigils, their spirits lifted by the stories of bravery and cunning that streamed in from the front lines. The media covered every development extensively, and the tales of young pilots and soldiers who had shown extraordinary courage and resourcefulness became household lore. Back in space, the prepared ambush at the Orion Nebula was about to unfold. Lieutenant Nora Hayes, a skilled pilot renowned for her adept handling of the nimble XJ-7 starfighter, led the stealth squadron. As they approached the nebula, the cosmic dust and gas provided perfect cover. Stay tight and follow the plan. Remember, it's hit and run. We strike the supply ships and retreat before their escorts can pin us down, Nora briefed her team, her voice a calm constant in the commotion of the operation. The ambush was swift and devastating. The human pilots darted through the nebula, their ships barely visible against the backdrop of swirling colors. They targeted the Krell's supply ships, unleashing a barrage of torpedoes that lit up the nebula with brilliant explosions. Within minutes, the supply convoy was in ruins, and the squadron slipped away into the cosmic veil, leaving chaos in their wake. Meanwhile, on the diplomatic front, Ambassador Elena Myrov worked tirelessly at the Galactic Federation's capital. The recent victories provided her with the leverage she needed to strengthen alliances and rally more support from hesitant member species. Her efforts were crucial in knitting a tighter coalition as the Federation faced the existential threat posed by the Krell. The tide is turning, but we must not become complacent. Now more than ever, we need to present a united front, Elena addressed the assembly, her voice firm and inspiring. Earth's commitment is unwavering, and we ask that all member worlds contribute more to our joint defense initiatives. Her words resonated, leading to increased commitments of resources, ships, and personnel from across the Federation. This bolstered morale and provided much-needed support to the front lines, enhancing the strategic capabilities of the Allied forces. As Earth's military continued to engage the Krell across various fronts, General Sarah Komu reviewed the reports coming in. The success at the Orion Nebula had disrupted the enemy's logistics, leading to noticeable delays and disarray within their ranks. This advantage allowed Federation forces to reclaim territories previously lost to the Krell. This campaign has shown us the importance of adaptability and courage, qualities that humanity has in abundance, General Komu reflected during a briefing with her staff. Let's use this momentum. Plan the next series of strikes and prepare our forces for a prolonged engagement. With Earth's strategic victories reshaping the battlefield, the Galactic Federation found itself in an unfamiliar but hopeful scenario. Humanity's role had transformed from that of a diplomatic newcomer to a central pillar in the Federation's defense strategy. This shift was not lost on the other member species, and it sparked a blend of admiration, fear, and introspection throughout the galaxy. In the Federation's capital, as planets and moons began their slow dance of alignment visible from the high towers of the Council building, Ambassador Elena Myrov prepared for a crucial assembly meeting. This session, widely broadcast across countless worlds, was set to redefine humanity's place within the Federation. Elena stood before the assembly, her presence commanding as she began to speak, her voice echoing through the hall. Esteemed delegates, when Earth joined this federation, we brought with us a legacy of survival against the odds, honed on a planet rich with challenges. We were viewed through the lens of our peace and cooperative spirit, but we have always harbored the spirit of warriors. The hall murmured with the shifting tones of countless languages. Screens around the room displayed scenes from recent battles, human-led forces executing precise strikes, rescuing besieged colonies, and turning the tide of engagements thought unwinnable. Today, I stand before you not just to celebrate our victories, but to reveal the depth of our commitment and the strength that comes from our heritage. Earth is often called a death world by our galactic neighbors due to its dangerous environment and fierce life forms. Yes, it's true. Our history is one of conflict, but also of overcoming, of transforming adversity into strength. Elena paused, letting her words sink in, her gaze meeting several of her counterparts from various species. This death world heritage makes us who we are. It has prepared us for the harsh realities of this conflict. It is not just our technology but our resolve, our willingness to face adversity head-on, that has enabled our recent successes. The assembly listened, captivated yet contemplative, as she continued. Let this be a call to all in the Federation. We share a common enemy in the Krell, and perhaps even a common destiny. Earth wishes not to dominate but to contribute, to share the strength that comes from our unique background for the benefit of all. As her speech concluded, the chambers erupted into a mix of applause and murmurs. The impact of her words was immediate, rippling through the political echelons of the Federation. Debates ensued, with many leaders expressing a newfound respect for humanity's resilience and tactical acumen, while others whispered concerns about the potential implications of Earth's ascendant role. Meanwhile, back on Earth and across human-occupied space, military academies, training camps, and research facilities were in overdrive. The need for continuous innovation and readiness had never been clearer. General Sarah Komu, reviewing deployment strategies, reflected on Elena's words. Our past, our struggles on Earth, have indeed prepared us well for this, she mused, speaking to her staff in a strategy session. Let's ensure that this new respect translates into tactical partnerships and shared intelligence. At the same time, the military's focus shifted from mere survival to maintaining the momentum. Training drills incorporated more complex scenarios, involving multi-species teams and joint operations that reflected the new, cooperative stance Elena had championed. In the strategy rooms and on the battlefields, the revelation of Earth's true nature had a dual effect. It bolstered the morale of human forces, giving them a profound sense of identity and purpose, while also elevating their status among Federation species. The newfound camaraderie and respect among the Allied forces led to more effective joint operations, pooling resources, intelligence, and technology in ways that had previously been hampered by mutual mistrust and bureaucratic hurdles. Earth was no longer just another member of the Federation but a key player in its survival and future. The challenges ahead remained daunting, but the path forward was now illuminated by the shared light of unity and the stark revelations of necessity. As the Galactic Federation faced the ongoing threat of the Krell, the newfound respect and reliance on Earth's strategic prowess marked a significant shift in the interstellar political landscape. The capital, once a place where Earth's representatives tread lightly, was now a stage where they stood as equals among the oldest members of the Federation. This final chapter observes the integration of humanity into the heart of galactic strategy and governance. In the newly established War Strategy Council, Ambassador Elena Myrov sat among the leaders of the most influential species within the Federation. The council was convened to structure a unified command, an initiative that stemmed from the urgent need to coordinate the Federation's military efforts more effectively against the Krell threat. Elena, recognized for her decisive role in the recent victories, was at the forefront of shaping this new structure. We must build upon the frameworks of cooperation that have brought us this far, Elena proposed, her voice resonant in the high-ceilinged council chamber. This council should not only oversee the defense strategies but also foster the development of joint technological and logistical capacities across our diverse civilizations. Her suggestion was met with nods and murmurs of agreement. The representatives, once skeptical of Earth's youthful energy and rapid ascension, now acknowledged the need for such dynamism in their ranks. On Earth, the news of the Council's formation and Elena's significant role in it was met with a mix of pride and anticipation. The public, gathered around screens broadcasting her speech, felt a renewed sense of purpose. The planet buzzed with activities not just aimed at defense but at furthering Earth's contribution to the galactic community. Universities, think tanks, and research institutions received grants to develop technologies that could benefit all Federation members, turning Earth into a hub of innovation inspired by its rich and tumultuous heritage. General Sarah Komu, overseeing the training of the Joint Task Forces, implemented new training programs that integrated various species combat techniques and strategic doctrines. "Let's use our diversity as our strength," she often said, addressing her mixed troops. The training grounds on Earth's moon became a microcosm of the Federation, where cultural exchange and mutual respect built a formidable fighting force. Meanwhile, back in the war-torn sectors, the impact of the unified command began to show. Coordinated strikes, shared intelligence, and combined fleet maneuvers became the new norm. Admiral Lu Chen, commanding a mixed fleet on the front lines, found the new collaborative approach not only refreshing but also extraordinarily effective. "See that formation?" he pointed out during a battle simulation to his diverse staff. It was inspired by the Nebulan defensive patterns, but executed with human precision and speed. "Together, we're more than the sum of our parts." As peace gradually returned to the contested regions, the Federation planned a grand ceremony on Tarnus V, the capital planet, to celebrate not only their survival but also the new era of cooperation it heralded. During the ceremony, species from across the galaxy presented their cultures, technologies, and visions for the future. Earth's delegation, once humble and reserved, now proudly showcased advanced tech that blended human ingenuity with alien aesthetics, symbolizing their new role as both learners and leaders. In her keynote speech, Elena reflected on the journey of the Federation and Earth's role within it. "From the ashes of conflict, we have forged bonds that are tempered with respect and mutual reliance. Let us move forward not just as allies, but as family. Our diversity, our shared challenges, and our united strength are what make us truly galactic citizens." The ceremony concluded with the unveiling of a new monument in the Unity Square, featuring symbols of all the Federation members, with Earth's emblem at its heart. The monument was not just a celebration of victory over the Krell, but a commitment to shared prosperity and defense. As the Federation looked to the future, Earth's transformation from a solitary defender of its own world to a central figure in galactic affairs was complete. Humanity had shown the galaxy not only the might of their military, but the strength of their character. They had come into the galactic community as learners and now stood as leaders, ready to face whatever new challenges the stars might hold.